You get up, get dressed, brush your teeth, have your food, and off go to work. And let's say every week, fortnight, or month, you get paid for what you do. Is that it? A few years ago, I've just, reflected on the year past, took stock on where I had gotten for all the time that I had invested. And I noticed that what I had put in on one hand and what I had gotten out on the other side were not necessarily there where I would like it to be. And so it really made me become more aware of how do we actually go about income generation. And then I looked around and I saw these several people being very affluent, being able to afford the things they wanted to do, take their families on trips, explore the world, live in the mansion and the houses that they want, and be able to pretty much do and have everything what they wanted because they had the money. Now, am I here to say that money is a holy grail and it's the ultimate game? It's not. But what I do know is that based on my own experience, when you do have the money, that you have so much more freedom. And freedom is very important in life, isn't it? So I've created this video here to actually share my experiences and my lessons and learnings openly with you so that you too can make better decisions, more informed decisions, because we don't know what we don't know. And obviously, if we are just doing what we used to do in the past, without necessarily thinking about how we could improve our approach and do better in terms of our outcomes, well, obviously we're going to keep doing the same old, same old. And so here I am sharing my experiences and insights openly with you so that you can make different decisions too. There's 3 different ways to create an income. Number 1 is active. Active means that you just do what you have to do in order to get paid. So you put in 1 minute of your time and you bank $1 or a certain amount of money for that time invested. Now, that is obviously always requires you to be on deck. It always requires you to rock up. So obviously, as you have a job, for example, it means that even though you're sick, you will get some sort of coverage. You might have certain level of parental leave and the likes, but really what it means is that you're giving up your time, your most precious resource, to get therefore most of your money from that. And because you pretty much give a 48-hour window out of every week, year in, year out, it means that you've got very little time left outside of family and perhaps some sports and the likes to look after yourself and the tedious jobs in the household. You've got very little time left to do anything else beyond it. Now, some people will try to somehow squeeze in yet another little side hustle or an extra job, or a part-time thing. But really what you keep doing is you try to just exchange more time for money. And you keep being in the rat race where you always have to put in to get something out. Now, active really means active. You do have to work hard rather than work smart. And so my biggest thing there is, as an employee, I've done the hard yards. I've done my 60-hour weeks. I've done, the 2 jobs at the same time. And if I then reflected on it, like, is this really it? Is this really what I want? Having all of my time given away, having very little time left, and then the dollars that went with it, is that really the sort of equation that I had envisioned? Guess what? I made a different decision. I started looking for different income streams, which I'm going to touch on as well. If jobs or being a salaried employee, if that is the first sort of way to create an active income, there's 2 active incomes, which is what this is one off. The second thing then is fee for service. Now, that means pretty much that you become a freelancer or a consultant, whereby you trade your time for money, but it's project based. So you might have 1 customer or 1 boss. You might have 100 customers and bosses throughout the year because you're really giving only a certain amount of time away in return for a certain dividend. Now, challenge with that is, although you might see temporarily your income increase because you make literally more money for every hour you invest, you might also find that then there's the challenges also for you to first find that work. And that sometimes is unbillable time. And so they might have fluctuations and see ups and downs in your income just because you require a certain amount of projects paid at a certain amount of dollar level in order to make the income that you desire. And so those two, being a job and fee for service, is pretty much what means active income streams. They pretty much require you to be full on deck. You get paid when you rock up, and you don't get paid if you actually lose the job, so to speak. And that pretty much is the two first active income streams. Now the next one then is passive income. Passive income is so great. It's amazing really, because it means that you can create something, make something, you can set it and forget it. And while it's set and forgotten about, it creates income in the back end. So think about, you just somehow having created something of some sort, whether it's a song that people can purchase, or it is a book that people can purchase of you, or a CD, or a DVD package, or an online course. It's things that you have designed online and offline, that allow you to create an income from without you needing to rock up anymore. Now, this is obviously leverage. This means that you really can just pretty much lie on the beach, check your phone and see money in your bank account deposited because somebody somewhere bought something of you, even though it didn't require you to physically be there. That is so much cooler than just the active stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some of those in just a moment as well. 6 different ways on how to do that, and I'll touch on those in a moment. Now the third different way of creating income is then obviously recurring income. Now whilst the passive income is more transactional based, recurring income means that you actually have some sort of arrangement in place whereby you get a fixed amount paid every period that is part of the agreement. Now the best idea, of course, or the best example in that regard is rent. As soon as you have a property, whether residential or commercial, doesn't matter, and you trade that to, or you hand it over to a tenant, that tenant will pay you a fixed number of money every week, fortnight, or month, depending on whatever you have agreed. Now that is obviously great. In this particular recurring set, there's 4 different ways to create your income, and I'll touch on those in just a moment. Now in the quick summary, active income, there's 2. Second one is then passive income, and there's 6 of them. Then last but not least, recurring income, and there's 4 of those. We're going to dive in all 12 of them right now. So the first one is active. Jobs on the one hand, or job, your main profession, where you're pretty much giving your 40 hours away in return for money, or your fee for service, where you're a freelancer or a contractor or a consultant. Pretty much both of them require you to be fully hands on deck, trade your time for money. For every hour you invest, you get a certain return on it. And that's pretty much it. But it's hard work, it's not leveraged, it's not very smart, and it's pretty much capped. Next one then is passive income. With passive income, you're using leverage to your advantage. You're helping to create more freedom for your family and yourself. You're giving yourself more peace of mind, particularly if you do it in the right way. The first one up is royalties. Now, think about the days where, an Elvis Presley or a Madonna or any other artist created a song or a film that then obviously every time when people bought the vinyl record or the CD or the audio cassette, every time when people bought it somewhere, the artist got paid a royalty for it. And that is obviously a great source of income. You create it once, you just allow people to get access to it, and you get paid. Now in today's society, the same applies also for things like Amazon or eBay. Anytime when people buy your product on any of those digital platforms, you get paid, right? That is really cool. And so royalties is a great way to get passive income. The second passive income is then affiliate commissions. Now, affiliate commissions means that you have collaborations in place with other people that either promote your services and products or whereby you promote their products and services, and either way, you both get paid. So, what does it mean, for example, in today's society? You know, you might be already a subscriber right now of a particular software platform. As you help others to acquire that software, you will get a residual income every month as long as that person is a subscriber to that service. That is pretty cool. The other thing is then also is when you allow somebody else to buy something as a transaction, a one-off thing rather than an ongoing recurring subscription. The one-off transaction, whether it's a book, a blender, another electronic equipment that you have referred people to, if you know how to do it, whether it's a training program, a live event, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have agreements in place with the party that sells and delivers the product or service, you get paid a commission or a referral fee, a spotter fee as we sometimes call it. And that, my friends, is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is a wonderful way of deriving an income. I remember, for example, having hosted an event where about 70 odd of my best customers rocked up. And there was a number of guest speakers that I invited, all of whom had certain products and services available to my audience, to my customers. And so as some of my customers bought a product of theirs, not only did the customer got what they wanted, they also paid therefore my affiliate or my guest speaker. But I also made a portion of money based on that agreement. Now, did my customer pay more? Not at all. It was just the way how the pie was split between the two of us, so that I was rewarded for helping my associate to access a new client, and my client paid that person the money in the first place. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. So everybody is getting something of benefit to them. Now, affiliate commissions is something that you can also leverage. You can do it in offline or offline. You can do it for events or products. You can do it for services or products. You can imagine pretty much everything really, as long as you help somebody else to access a new customer through your database. You could get an affiliate commission, and vice versa. As somebody helps you to win new business, you can give them also a reward in return as a thank you. So this is pretty much the second passive income stream. Let's go now over to the third. The third is online transactions. We obviously all know and have heard about e-commerce. So whether it's an Amazon or an eBay or a Shopify, you can make transactions on either one of them. Now, some people that I know, for example, have got a very thriving Amazon type of business, and obviously they are investing a lot of money in purchasing goods, manufacturing goods, and selling goods, shipping them over to people that have purchased them worldwide. And that is really a very good type of business. You don't necessarily need to invest lots of money in products that you then try to sell to somebody online. You can also just sell digital things online. You can, as affiliates also do, of course, have other people's products sold through your customer base and get paid on that, even though you don't have to buy, manufacture, or even ship anything out, because the transactions really could be affiliate transactions, or they could be purely digital type of transactions. So whether you sell a digital program like an ebook, an online course, or some mentoring online, I'm just giving you a few examples, all of those could be involved transactions. They're one of a kind. It's a once-off sort of payment that occurs, or even if it's a payment plan, but it's capped. The fourth income stream then, in terms of passive, is your interests on investments. Now, I am not particularly new to the idea of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and this sort of stuff. I've had a few of those, let's say, experiences along the way, and I wouldn't say that I was very successful at it, because the stocks that I bought, I actually used money that at some stage I needed, so I had to sell the stock at the worst possible time. So I didn't really make the money required for it. But one of the key lessons I've learned along the way, since then is that when you are in the market and you've got some cash available as an extra, which you don't need because you've got still a safety cushion on the other side, then you can actually strategically invest in things and wait long enough for those stocks to appreciate and therefore then access an interest or some interest on your investments, which can be paid sometimes even up to monthly. So you get a dividend on your shares that you have in your portfolio and get paid that way in income, even though you still have your stock and shares readily available. They might go up and down, but you're still getting recurring income. And that is really the beauty of that. Now, the fifth one then is equity growth. Sometimes there is a bit of a duality or an opposition between people that say, hey, I love real estate, and other people say, I love stock, and they try to somehow beat each other up. They actually really work well in unison. So what if, you also have your stocks and bonds and shares, but you also do in real estate? The real estate, obviously, when bought in a very high growth environment, you might see the value of a property of yours increase quite significantly in a short space of time. Now, the good news is, even though you wouldn't purchase a property in a fast growth area, over time, as long as you can hold on to it, that equity will grow typically more so than the interest that the bank will charge you to buy it. So it's a great way to make money. In fact, last year alone, I've noticed that some of my best ways to make me money or increase my net worth have been through the acquisition and holding on to property. And so you can do the same. You can actually derive a really good income from your property just already in terms of the equity growth. The equity growth that you can borrow up against to invest in more property, for example, if you wanted to. Now, the last but not least is a company valuation. When you're in business, if you have a good business is built on automation. A good business is built on the guaranteed income that business makes, whether you are there or not. So if you have a business that requires you as a contractor or a consultant or a trainer or a coach, the way that I used to do, if that business is really reliant on that, you don't have a sellable business really, unless you've got subscriptions that are digitized that already make money even though you're not there. That would help to sell your business. That would help to increase the value of your business. But in the absence thereof, there is not really a sellable business. Now, your company valuation, imagine now that you were to actually create the business that everybody would love to have. It's fully automated. It's got, X number of clients that pay you every single month a certain amount of money. That is increasing. It's growing also over time because you've got marketing and sales funnels running in the back end, just helping people to access what you have online. That would be an awesome business. The valuation of those type of businesses really is very high. So if you're looking for certain income potential, again, the sellability of your business with the automation built into it is a key differentiator and a key influencer in terms of how much money you will be able to derive from it. Now, last but not least, this was the passive income. Let's now go to the recurring income streams, which we've got 4 of. The first one is rent. We spoke about it earlier. So whether you have a residential or a commercial property, you can pretty much rent it out and have tenants pay you a good return on your investment. They can actually give you a positively geared property, meaning that you actually make more money than the property is costing you. That is great for cash flow. That is great for income. Now, mind you, at this stage, I really want to warn you for the fact that there is such a thing as negative gearing, where a lot of accountants try to make you think that it's great to have a property that you actually have to put money into for tax reasons. Now, if you're looking at me right now in the eye and you ask me, Bram, tell me how I can increase my income, that is typically not that smart of a way to go about it, even though your trusted advisor as an accountant might have told you. Much better is if you're looking for cash flow and income, money in the pocket, rather than banking on a long-term dividend down the track when you ever sell it, or for capital gains. You don't have to wait for that to happen. You can already get it here and now by buying a good property that is making you more money than what it's actually costing you. That's when your rent is putting more dollars to your income, whereby you actually can fund a lifestyle as a result of having the property, whilst it simultaneously might increase in value over time. Number 2 then is subscriptions. Think about Netflix. Think about your newspaper or magazine subscriptions you have. Pretty much there, you pay a company X amount of money every month to access what they have on offer for you that you want. And so you can come up with certain subscriptions of your own. What if you were to have content that you made available to members of yours, subscribers of yours? If you do, you actually create an income stream that way, which to some extent you can also automate to a large extent. The great thing is also, as you make certain courses or webinars or pamphlets and articles available in return for a certain fee every month from your subscribers, is that you can scale that up easily. You might write the articles or books or videos, and you might do them only one time. Every single time that an extra subscriber comes on board, you are increasing the return on your time spent. So if I have, for example, 10 subscribers paying me $50, I make $500 per time that I release a piece of content. But if I have 100 people, I somehow did times 10. So I'm suddenly making 5,000 instead of 500. If I then have 1,000 people, I make $50,000. So the leverage capability of subscription-based things is phenomenal, especially online. And obviously, there's really great ways to go about creating worthwhile, valuable memberships for people out there. Number 3 then is license or franchise fees. Now Australia, for example, amongst many other Anglo-Saxon countries, are very big on franchises. And obviously, if you are the creator of, the inventor of, or even the seller of a particular type of system to run a business in a certain way, to access certain products at bulk pricing, whereby you got a better profit margin and the like, where you also train your customers on how to market, sell, service, and the likes, that business. It could be McDonald's, it could be Cartridge World, it could be a travel type of franchise, it could be any franchise really. It could be an eatery, Gelatissimo, as in terms of an ice cream shop. Think about anything really under the sun that is a franchise. If you create such a thing, you have every single franchisee or licensee pay you a certain amount of money every month. Sometimes in addition, there's even transaction fees in terms of in return of the revenue they made it every month. There's a certain percentage then in addition to the regular franchise fee that they might pay you too. So there's lots of really lucrative ways to create a franchise business or a license-based business without getting into the legalities of what the difference is between both. The simple principles apply to both. It's recurring income for you and your family. Last but not least, number 4 is sponsorships. Today, in this day and age, there's so many people, for example, working from home, whether there's mums or dads, working from home, blogging, writing all sorts of articles, and positioning themselves as an expert about certain topics. And because they have built a followership, they actually are attracting sponsorships just for that. Equally, when you're raising to a certain level within a certain sport, you also might have certain sports brands sponsor you to be seen with you and be associated with your brand, with your face, and obviously your fan base. And obviously, there again, you got a sponsorship opportunity. You might do all sorts of webcasts and have a podcast, yes? Where you're just putting out content there as if it was your own radio show. And a lot of people listen to you. Again, you might then have people sponsoring you there and then. Or, what I have done, for example, in the past as well, whenever I have a big size event where lots of customers are coming, customers that somebody else might also want to talk to, you could invite those people to become a sponsor of your event, and then they pay you also a certain amount of money to be able to be seen with you at the event, be associated to the event, and have a certain level of access to the people there so that they might be able to acquire them as customers as well. Sponsorships are a great way for recurring income. There you got now 12 different income streams for you to strategically develop over time. Because chances are is that if you want to have a wonderful life, you want to have the freedom, the flexibility, and the means to do, have, and be who you want to be, what you want to do, have what you want to have, and experience the type of things that you really would love, well, guess what? Money is going to get you there faster. The more you have, the more you can do. The more people you want to help, the more money it's going to take. Any thoughts or questions, please post them below. Subscribe to my channel because obviously there's more and more of this sort of interesting information that I'm going to be sharing with you. And especially if you want to access more resources, click the link below because that's where lots of good references are cited to make things easy for you and help you save a lot of time, because time is your most valuable resource. So as you invest your time well, you're going to get the rewards associated with that. My name is Bram. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.